Hello everyone. In this video, I want to revise atomic structure, and it is a quick revision of atomic structure which is very useful for a student who is going to write NEET or JEE mains or some entrance exams. So I have decreased the chapter and have discussed only important points which should be revised by a student before going to exam. So in this chapter, I am not dealing with the complete chapter. I am dealing only the important points which should be revised before going to the exam. So let us start the chapter. First, let us discuss about Planck's quantum theory. So what is this Planck's quantum theory means? The Planck tells that the energy is present in the form of small packets, and that energy is directly proportional to frequency. So here E is directly proportional to frequency. So to remove this proportionality, we have to write E is equal to h mu, where mu b is nothing but it is a c by lambda. So you can also write this equation as E is equal to hc by lambda. And next we have wave number, that is mu bar is equal to 1 by lambda. So we can also write this as E is equal to hc mu bar. So where this mu is frequency and this c is velocity of light, lambda is wavelength, and the mu bar is wave number. So try to remember all this. And next up, the value of h is it is 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 34, and the units are joules. And the same value we can also have it as 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 27 x. So these are the units of h. And the velocity of light is taken as c is nothing but velocity of light, and its value is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second, or 3 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeters per second. These are the units of c. And next, wavelength will be given in angstroms or nanometers. So we must know how to convert nanometers into meters and centimeters. So if 1 angstrom is given, then this is equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meters, or 10 to the power of minus 8 centimeters. In the same way, if 1 nanometer is given, nanometer means it is 10 to the power of minus 9 meters, or which is also equal to 10 to the power of minus 7 centimeters. Sometimes in the question he will give in picometers. So 1 picometer is equal to 10 to the power of minus 12 meters, and this is also equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 centimeters. So these are the all important formulas and the values you have to remember while doing these problems on this Planck's quantum theory. Next, after next topic is on Bohr's postulates. So in the Bohr's postulates, we don't discuss all the points. We discuss only important point, that is Bohr's angular momentum, which is nothing but mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. So this is Bohr's angular momentum. You have to remember this point. So in the objectives, how the questions will be asked, we'll ask what is the angular momentum in first orbit or second orbit. Suppose if the question is asked in second orbit, their angular momentum mvr is equal to 2h by 2 pi. So which is equal to, you can cancel this 2 and 2. We get final answer as h by pi. And if the electron is present in third orbit, then we get mvr is equal to 3h by 2. Sometimes in the options, how he will give means instead of this 3h by 2 pi, he will give this as 1.5h by pi. So don't get confused. So this is about Bohr's postulate. And after this Bohr's postulate, the next important topic is it is hydrogen spectrum. So in the hydrogen spectrum, we have five series of spectral lengths. So in that first one is Lyman series. Next we are having Balmer series. Next Passion series. Next we are having Bracket, and fifth one is Fun series. Fun series PFUN. So these are the five series. And N1 values for this Lyman is 1, and for Balmer is 2, Passion is 3, Bracket is 4, and Fund is 5. And N2 value will be more than 1. So it is 2, 3, 4, so and so. And this will be 3, 4, 5, so and so. 4, 5, 6, and so and so. And this is 5, 6, 7, and so and so. And 6, 7, 8, and so on. And the regions they belongs to is Lyman belongs to UV region. And this Balmer belongs to visible region. Where are all these three Passion, Bracket, and Fun? They belongs to infrared region, IR. All the three belongs to IR. And remember, among these UV will have more energy. UV will have more energy, and here IR will have less energy. And energy is inversely proportional to wavelength. So automatically here UV will have less wavelength, and IR will have more wavelength. So this is about hydrogen spectrum. And in the hydrogen spectrum, we will ask questions based on Rydberg's equation. Rydberg's equation. So in the Rydberg's equation, we have formula that is mu bar is equal to 1 by lambda is equal to Rydberg's constant R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. So this is equation to calculate wavelength and wavelength. And here R value is 109,677 centimeter inverse. So this is centimeters. It is centimeter inverse. And next we can also calculate wavelength. We can also take this wavelength lambda is equal to 912 by 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. And in this we get wavelength directly in angstroms. Suppose in the options, if the question is asked in angstroms, you can directly use this formula. So the calculation is very simple. And suppose if the question is asked in nanometers, you just take this as instead of 912, take this as 91. That 91 by the same thing. 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. So this is the formula. If the wavelength is asked to calculate in nanometers. So this is about Rydberg's equation. So next, after this Rydberg's equation, the next important topic is de Broglie's wave equation. De Broglie's wave equation. So in this de Broglie's wave equation, I am directly writing the equation, that is lambda is equal to h by mv. We don't need any derivations. So lambda is equal to h by mv. That's all. And you can also write this as lambda is equal to h by p, where p is called as momentum. H is nothing but the same thing, Planck's constant. So it is 6 into 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 30. And remember one important point: while doing problems on this wave, de Broglie's equation, you try to take mass in kilograms and also velocity in meters per second. So you just follow any one rule. So generally most questions will be asked in velocity is given in meters per second, and he will give mass in grams. You have to convert the mass in kilograms, and velocity should be taken in meters per second, and then you have to do the problem. Next, and in this de Broglie's wave equation, suppose if an electron is revolving in a particular orbit, then the wave which is produced here, it is a standing wave. So the wave is said to be continuous, and this is called as standing wave. And in this standing wave, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. Suppose if the electrons are being excited and de-excited, so the electrons are excited and de-excited, so they are not revolving in a same orbit. In this case, the wave is said to be discontinuous, or this is called as non-standing wave. So in this non-standing wave, we get 2 pi r. Take this 2 pi r is not equal to n lambda. It is not equal to n lambda. 2 pi r. Whenever the electron is excited and de-excited, in that case we produce a non-standing wave, and we get 2 pi r is not equal to n lambda. And whenever the electron is present revolving in a same orbit, here you can substitute this lambda as h by mv. So you can rearrange this formula, and you get 2 pi r is equal to nh by mv. So if you rearrange this, we get mvr is equal to nh by 2. So this is a relation from Bohr's. So Bohr's angular momentum is what? Mvr is equal to nh by 2. So we have uh, derived an equation de Broglie's to Bohr's postulate. So from this, what we conclude means the de Broglie's wave equation and Bohr's postulates are correlated. So just all this derivation is not required. Just remember, for a standing wave, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. And remember, whenever you are doing problems with this de Broglie's wave equation, try to take the mass in kilograms, and velocity you take it in meters per second. That's all. You get the answers. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So, according to this Heisenberg uncertainty principle, if we know the position of electron, the velocity becomes uncertain. If you know the velocity of an electron, then the position becomes uncertain. So both are related as delta x into delta p is equal to h by 4 pi. It is taken as n pi. The problems we take it as h by 4 pi. And here this delta p is nothing but momentum. So you can also write this equation as delta x into m delta v is equal to h by 4 pi. So this is a important relation which you have to remember for Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Next, in this Heisenberg uncertainty principle also, while doing problems, you remember take velocity in meters per second and take mass in kilograms. So in the quantum numbers, the first quantum number is principal quantum number. So the principal quantum number, uh, the important point is it was proposed by Bohr and denoted by the letter n. N have values 1, 2, 3, and so and so, or represented as K, L, M, and so and so. And next, this signifies about size, or you can write it as radius and energy. So this is principal. And the second one is azimuthal. So in the azimuthal quantum number, it was proposed by Sommerfeld. And this is denoted by the letter L. L have values 0, L can be 1, 2, and 3. And remember, L value should be always less than n. Should be less than n. And this L value is 0, it indicates s orbital. L value 1, p orbital. L value 2, d orbital. And 3 is for f orbital. So what is the significance of azimuthal means it signifies about shape. So this is spherical and this is dumbbell, double dumbbell and four-fold. Next, the third quantum number is magnetic, and this magnetic was proposed by Land and denoted by M. M values are minus L2 plus L, including 0, along with 0. And suppose if uh, this point is very very important, see carefully. If L is equal to 0, then M value will be equal to 0. So L is S, 0 means. So here you get only one S orbital for the S. You get only one box. So you can write a maximum of 2 electrons. Next, if L is equal to 1, then we get values as M values as minus 1, 0, and plus 1. So if you take the number of boxes in the p orbital, you get 3: px, py, and pz. So this is px, and this is py, and this is pz. And if L is equal to 2, then the values will be from minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, and plus 2. So these are the values. And if you see in the D, the number of degenerate d orbitals, they are equal to 5. One is dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square, and dz. So in the same way, you can also write L value 3 for f orbital. So the maximum number of electrons which we can write in this S means 2 electrons. So total P is 6. and total D is 10. Next, the fourth quantum number is it is a spin quantum number, and the spin quantum number was proposed by Uhlenbeck and Gauss-Smith. And if the electron revolves in clockwise, then it is given as plus of, and if the electron revolves in anti-clockwise, then it is given as minus of. And this magnetic quantum number signifies about orientation. So, what is the main purpose of these quantum numbers? Means these quantum numbers will tell the exact position of the electron. And remember, no two electrons will have same quantum number. If the n value, l value, and m value are same, they at least differ by spin quantum number. So that is nothing but Pauli's principle. So this is fourth one is spin quantum number. Electron revolving in clockwise is given as plus of, anti-clockwise is given as minus of. And next, what is the main significance is nothing but it signifies about spin. So this is about quantum numbers. Next, just try to remember this some important points. So if question is asked to find orbital angular momentum. The question is asked to find orbital angular momentum. Sometimes you will ask the relation. Then the formula is it is h by 2 pi under root of L into L plus 1. This is the relation. And if it is asked to find spin angular momentum, spin angular momentum, then it is same formula. Instead of L, write S, 2 pi under root of S into S plus 1. And the third formula is very important. It is to find spin magnetic momentum. So if you want to calculate the magnetic momentum, it is mu is equal to under root of n into n plus 2. So where this n is nothing but number of unpaired electrons. And if you want to calculate radial nodes, then radial nodes, the formula is n minus L minus 1. The calculation of radial nodes. And angular nodes, it is L. Angular nodes is L. And if you want to calculate total nodes, then it is n minus 1. So this is to calculate total nodes. That's all. These are some important relations. And one more point to remember, small question will be asked, and most of the students will do a mistake. What is that question means? The question is like he will ask the maximum number of electrons present in an s orbital, or he asked the maximum number of electrons present in a p orbital. Whenever a question is asked maximum number of electrons in a s orbital, it is nothing but it is equal to 2. And when the question is asked what is the maximum number of electrons present in a p orbital, so whenever orbital is given, then the answer is 2. most of the students what they think means so for the p orbital means they take it as 6. Orbital means it is either px, py or pz. That is called as orbital. So there is a lot of difference between orbit and orbital. And suppose if the question is asked total number of electrons present in p orbitals, then the answer is 6. So if it is asked just p orbital, then the answer is 2. And if it is asked as a d orbital, then also the answer is 2. And if it is asked f orbital, then also answer is 2. Most of the students they commit mistake in this writing the electrons in orbital. The question he sometimes asks the total number of electrons. Total number of electrons means this is 2, 6 and this is 10 and this is 14. If the question is asked whatever it is, s orbital, p, d or f, orbital is there means the answer is only 2. So this point is very important. You have to remember. So that's all for the day. Thank you.